The Raptors can't. Excuse me. The Raptors can't close a deal against the Utah Jazz.
That's a prophetic opening.
122, 116. You ask me why I don't eat. That's why I got a French fry in my mouth.
Choking you up, man. Choking you up.
This is Raptors Tonight. I'm Randy Urban, joined by Paul Jones, Sherman Hamilton, and Eric Smith.
That is the way the game went tonight.
Yeah.
That was a symbolic open. Ready to go. Sputter.
Sherm's just asked me why I'm not eating. I'm like, because then I get French fries in my mouth. I reach for one French fry. I have a problem. All right, but before we get started, there's lots to unpack in this game, but I want to talk about something. This app, this element in the game, in the Raptors app called Game Time. And if you don't know, Game Time allows fans to participate in trivia games, live chats for a chance to win points and prizes during each and every Raptors game. And speaking of prizes, guys, there is a huge one right now. So on Sunday, check out the Game Time presented by PokerStars. Sunday night, February 12th, one lucky fan will have the chance to win a red Spade pass for an epic VIP experience to watch the Toronto Raptors play in LA and a trip to Vegas. Wow. The overall prize value is $30,000. Couple of notes, you've got to be 19 years of age or older to play, so that takes me out. And the contest is only open to Ontario residents. Best of all, no purchase necessary.
The three of us aren't traveling. Sherm, Eric, and I don't travel. Can we get in on the contest?
You can go, yeah.
Get a trip to LA?
Log on to the Raptors at Game Time.
I'll go. You know, you're looking for like a wingmate? I'll go.
Yeah, that is a huge prize.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great prize.
Who would you take?
What, like, does it
out
have
of us three?
Limited to this
me,
table?
Me, Jonesy, you know. I got you.
Oh, that ain't right.
I got you.
I don't know. I have to think about that one.
Okay, all right, fine. Here, I'll take my mini burgers back.
I'm rolling with Sherm because he'll win me back all that money at the blackjack table too.
Well, see, and
oh, that's your money.
If we snuck around a golf in, I could go with Sherm too. Like, are you? Like, would you get up at 7 in the morning to golf?
No, not for golf.
Then you're.
I'm not getting up.
I would, because I'm not going to sleep. It's Vegas.
That's right. You know, they pump in all that oxygen. Okay, let's talk about the game.
Well, let's keep just talking about this.
Yeah, we should. That was a tough one. You were on the analyst role tonight.
You're coming at me.
Heck of a job, by the way. Heck of a job.
Thank you.
So what happened, Sherm? What happened that fourth quarter?
It was a 24-5 run. Just kind of ended everything. And you could see throughout the course of the game, Utah got whatever they wanted in the paint. I think it was 76 paint points. You're not going to win. And during that 24-5 run, did you look it up? Was there any three-pointers taken?
I got sidetracked with the pizza.
Yeah, food. I know your belly comes first, but I just don't know I don't know how many threes were taken in that 24-5 run.
Yep.
But it didn't seem like there was a lot. It seemed like everything was at the front of the rim.
Yeah. They didn't stop the ball, and then it was either drop it off.
And I think there was a huge foul call discrepancy as well during that time.
11 fouls to 2.
But you know how it goes. If you're attacking and the other
going to
team
get the call.
You're getting the call. And the officials did miss some things tonight.
I would say
two triples in the fourth quarter. I don't know how many in the last 5 minutes.
Kelly Olynyk made a 3 when he threw his hands to the sky, because he hadn't made one all night. And
it was part of the run, though?
Yeah,
okay.
Part of the run, and that's kind of what turned the tide. 23-5, one field goal in the last 5-17 for the Raptors. And to me, this was one of those games where the defense wasn't holding up its end, but they were scoring enough offensively to keep Utah at an arm's length. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, late in the fourth quarter, the scoring stopped. Mm-hmm. And now that the defense can't hold and you're not scoring, the lead just kept getting chipped away at. And let's face it, Utah deserves some credit for continuing to play. Like, it was 10, it was 14.
It seemed like it was 6 the whole game. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Toronto pushed it to like 13, 15. You thought that was it.
Yeah, you just couldn't put them away, though. And give them credit. They just kept playing. And you know what I thought was interesting, too, as a young coach? Will Hardy kept refocusing his point guard, Colin Sexton. Like, literally, you could read him saying to him, don't worry about that, focus on this. Because Sexton could get sidetracked with stuff. And I just thought, you know, as much as Toronto didn't do some things, I think you have to give Utah credit for continuing to play and
For
doing
sure, and
something.
they've surprised teams all season long, right? The first game of the season, they beat someone by 30. I can't remember who it was, but it was a team that's one of the better teams in the NBA. This is just what they've done all season long. Having said that, you build a lead, Eric, to 14. What do you have to do, and why do the Raptors have such trouble with this season, stepping on their throats, so to speak?
If I had the answer for you, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd be knocking on Nick Nurse's door.
Still.
But you know what? I might hang out with you.
Yeah, thank you.
But maybe Sherman. Jonesy left me hanging on Vegas. I don't know. I don't have a great answer for you, Randy. I don't, because it's something that, like, if we were doing the show right now and you asked me this question 10 games in, I'd say, wait, almost 60 games in now? It's kind of been what they are. Like, and so I don't have a great answer for you as to why that killer instinct isn't necessarily there, and why, like tonight, you played 43, not great, but good minutes. And then everything evaporated in the final 5.
Do you guys think it's more of a product of what the other teams are doing, or is this something that is this a bit of a flaw?
I think it's self-inflicted.
Yeah.
That's my thought. The defense has, Utah shot, 54% tonight?
Well, going into the fourth, they were at like 48.
So what does that tell you about the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they were 13 of 17 in the fourth
They
quarter.
shot better.
Right. They shot
And
better.
to Jonesy's point, when the offense goes away and the defense goes away both at the same time, I'd say that's not a great recipe.
I will say this too. At one point I looked at the stat sheet and I saw 25 assists on 30 made field goals.
That's a lot.
They were moving the ball.
Yeah.
They were leading at that
stopped,
point.
yeah.
And the ball stopped moving. And that's been a problem we've seen. Late game situations, they've gotten away from moving the ball. There's been more ISO action and not that side-to-side action. Because when they moved the ball, whether it was in transition or in the half court, they reassembled where those 3 bigs were for the Utah Jazz that were protecting the paint. So
It's like they're looking for somebody to take
Kessler,
over and be the hero.
and Olynyk had to rotate and get out of position.
Yeah.
You had buckets.
Right.
When those 3 guys stood there and waited in the paint, it was a problem. And give Horton Tucker a lot of credit as well.
Yeah,
I thought
he was
played
excellent.
He was really good.
hard.
Yeah.
No answer for Walker Kessler, really, again. What did you see about defense on him?
Again, I think a lot of Kessler's baskets were the function of the ball getting into the paint. Like, he ran the floor for some easy ones, but the ball gets into the paint, you come over to rotate, it turns him loose on the glass. You get penetration, and he's there as a finisher, cleaning up. Like, those are things that, to Sherm's point about how many threes were there, well, as much as people like to look at the 3 ball and how it's such a weapon, the best shot is still a layup. And if you're getting in the lane for layups, if you're 6'11" and you're marketing, or you're Kelly Olynyk and you're getting into the lane and drawing defenders and making passes to your bigger guys that are 2-3 feet from the basket, that's a recipe for success.
Hey, Randy, Jonesy, to that point, it's interesting. It just kind of hit me right now. Pre-game, Will Hardy was asked about his team, especially after the deadline, and Mike Conley's gone, and you're handing the reins to Sexton now and whatnot. And one of the things he discussed was exactly what you were just saying from a Raptors perspective is we've got to be able to stop the ball. Our guards have to be able to stop the dribble penetration, because if any team, not just Toronto, any team gets into the lane, gets deep against us, the pressure that it puts on us, you can't just rely on Kessler to be a shot blocker all the time. There needs to be help on the ball, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what he was focusing on, and it's ultimately how he beat Toronto. There wasn't enough pressure on the ball.
Right.
The ball didn't stop. Deep penetration in the lane, as Sherm said, handoff, boom, high percentage shots. It's interesting now, as it just sort of hits me, that's what he was asked about with his own team, and that's how he beat Toronto.
That's basic.
Yeah.
That's solid, basic, fundamental basketball.
Yep.
Break the defense down, and then they can't catch up to the ball.
Okay, this is coming in from John N., who's watching live on YouTube. When things got slow, were you dissatisfied with Siakam's inclusion on offense, considering his above-average ability to finish? Great job on the mic, Sherm. So thanks,
Who's
John
that?
N.
Thanks, John N. Appreciate you.
Brother.
I paid him. I would say this. I thought everything I saw from Siakam tonight was very good.
Yeah.
I was very happy with what I saw for a guy who, he doesn't know the playbook. He doesn't know all the defensive rotations. But what you know is he has a basketball IQ, and he can make plays under this situation. So I thought he was good for a guy who kind of just ended up here the other day. But ultimately, Jakob Poeltl's skill set is going to fit nicely into what the Raptors do.
I was surprised he wasn't on the floor in the last 5 minutes. I don't know if it would have changed things or not, but I was a little bit surprised.
Hard, you got to try. I feel like you've got such a resume at that point, 50 games into the season, 55 games into the season with the guys that you have. I mean, yeah, you throw them out there, but
You probably have an idea of a finishing lineup.
yeah, right.
And all that said,
It's tough decision.
you get a couple of stops, you make a couple of shots, and I keep going back to not just what Toronto didn't do, but the plays that Utah made. How hard Colin Sexton played. They got
Feels like he's got something to prove. He's
well,
playing like
he and Fred have had a little thing.
for sure.
He, Fred,
when he
and
was
Kyle.
with Cleveland, yeah.
back in Cleveland. So you know that if those games aren't circled, they know when they are. And I give Utah credit for sticking to their personality and playing the way they played all season.
I said this on the broadcast.
rat tail?
Anybody who has a 1987 rat tail in 2023, they're a little bit off, man. Did you see the final possession for the Raptors where it was a 4-point game? They had a chance on the sideline inbounds. And
Pressuring
he was
the ball?
jumping like 4 feet in the air. Just the ball wasn't even handed to the player yet, and he was jumping. That guy will drive you crazy. He's an irritant. But this is an opportunity. No Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley's gone. This is his chance to prove. Remember, Cleveland decided on Darius Garland and not him. He's in Utah, got banged up a bit, but now that he's playing, this is his chance to really take over and show that he should be a long-term piece for them. So, he's a guy who you don't like, but you like.
You love to have him on your team.
Yeah, but even watching him, you don't like him, but you like him because he plays so hard. He's such an irritant. He believes in what he does. He's kind of this island out there doing what he does, and he doesn't care, but he plays so hard. But he should have been called for a couple of offensive fouls. Every time he went by somebody, that left elbow was coming up. And the problem with it is, unless he makes contact, it doesn't seem like it's going to be called. That's a problem. Because he shouldn't have to make contact for that to be an illegal play.
Right. Eric, just about the no moves other than Jakob Poeltl that the Raptors made at the deadline. What are your thoughts on that?
I honestly don't have a problem with it. I know some Raptor fans were surprised, and some are being vocal about what the Raptors allegedly, didn't do. Listen, I'm not a fan of making a move just for the sake of making a move. And if what has been reported since the deadline is factual, there have been some rumblings about what Toronto was apparently offered, what they turned down, whatnot. To me, what you could have done right now can be done in the summertime, and maybe more, maybe better. I think that, to get real simplistic about it, and Jonesy and I chatted about this on the radio.
I've been on this a month ago. I was on this a month ago.
There's a reason why your guys are wanted commodities around the league, because they're good. So if the package that is being offered back in return is not what you think it should be and not to your liking, then why would you trade an all-star and a champion in Fred VanVleet? Why would you trade a three-point threat and a shooter in Gary Trent? Why would you even fathom trading a two-time All-NBA guy and an all-star and champion in Pascal Siakam? Why would you trade a defensive player of the year candidate and a lockdown guy, a 3-and-D guy, and OG Anunoby, if the package is not to your liking? So all these people that are saying right now about not making a deal, listen, I can appreciate that, but none of us here at this room and nobody out there watching right now was in that room to know what package was or wasn't offered. Truly, there's 2-3 people that know the answer to that question, what truly was or wasn't offered. And I you can tell me I got pom-poms out, red and white, either, whatever you want. I trust the fact that the people that are in the position to make those decisions are smart enough to realize what should be said yes to, what should be said no to. And you know what? We like what we've got. Perhaps last year we overachieved. This year we've underachieved. The answer is somewhere in the middle. We got 25 games left. Let's see what we can do. I don't have a problem with it, but I will say, and I apologize for going off here, I think this just delayed the decision, because I think in the offseason, I don't know this for certain. I'm going to assume it's going to be hard to keep this exact core that's existing today beyond this summer, because that's a lot of guys with a lot of money, and that means a lot of tax. So I'm thinking that all the people that are upset nothing happened right now, something's going to happen in the summer. That's my gut.
Okay, good stuff. We got a question from inside the bar. Get on up here. All right, come on in. Come on over to the middle.
All right.
Good to meet you
What's
guys.
up, man? What's
going
up?
on?
I got a little mic here.
What's up, man? You good?
What's your name, bud?
Hi, my name is Wanjo.
Hi, Wanjo.
Super nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
So obviously, as like the sportscasters, you guys have a much more closer and personal relationship with the players as individuals. So when trade deadline comes along and the organization does trade a player such as Kem Birch or anyone really, like how does that affect you guys personally?
It's tough because they always say that you shouldn't. It's like a house. Don't get attached, right? Like you might have to move at some point, or and over the time as you get to know guys, it's tough to see them go. But you understand the business of basketball. New guys come in, you get to know them, and all of us have been here. I've been here 28 years. Eric 27, Sherman like 21 or 22. Like we've seen a lot of guys come and go, and you see them now in different capacities. When we see a Jose Calderon on the road, or Rudy Gay rolls in here today and says hello to all of us. It's just kind of the way it is. It's tough to see them go, but you understand the business and the way it works.
Yeah. It's 9 years for me, so you guys.
I would tend to agree with what Jonesy said as well. And the other thing too is I think it also is a new opportunity. Even if it's a guy being dealt away in a, like let's use Jonas. Like you look at Valanciunas coming back in that playoff run for the Raptors and watching his former team, and you respect that in him. He's still got a ton of close friends on the team and whatnot. But it's also now, fast forward a couple years later, he's in a damn good situation. So you recognize a lot of times it's not like one guy's being cast off, cast away, and now you're not part of it anymore. He might be being sent to a better situation, a different situation that becomes a better situation. So you kind of like can sometimes either in the short term or looking long term respect and appreciate that this might be better for the person. And then, hey, you know what? Sad to see you go on a personal level, but professionally speaking, go kick some butt, man. This is good for you.
Yeah, I think, it depends on the interactions we have. Every player we're not tight with, but, if you're closer to a player, then yeah, you feel it for them. But I think overall, whether you're closer or not, you understand that it is a process. It's an uprooting. If they have family, kids that are in school, you got to change that situation potentially, or they're gone away and their family's still here. So from a personal perspective, we all have families, so we understand kind of what that dynamic would feel like. But if you're not tight with the player, you don't have that connection with the player, you understand the business side of it. You can kind of distance yourself from the emotional side.
It'd be the same way too, like with any one of us. If one of these guys left to go to another team, to another situation that's better for them, I'm gonna miss them as friends, as colleagues, miss their families. I know everybody's families and friends and whatnot, but you hope the best for them and you wish them the best, and it's not going to change the relationship. And to Sherm's point, we're not necessarily buddy-buddy with a bunch of the players, so on a professional level, it's different with say us, but you wish that person the best and you hope that it works out for them, and it's not going to change. You still be able to communicate with them and everything else. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Appreciate it, though.
Man. Yeah,
it's a good question.
Good question.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, man.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Take that, buddy. Appreciate it. Oh yeah, wait, I forgot. You gotta shoot.
Wait, you gotta
shoot. You might get an appetizer if you make a couple of buckets here, or one bucket. There's
Hold
the
up.
line. Don't step over it.
He's good.
You could probably dunk it. Yeah.
Oh, one more.
We'll give him another
It's the
one.
nerves.
Yeah. He's too strong.
You just got traded.
Yeah, you get two more. Okay, you got
One more. Best out of three.
Hit this.
There we go.
All right.
We're bringing you back like
put it on
Jakob Poeltl. We
Jonesy's
traded you on
tab.
the brick, and we're bringing you back.
Put it on Jonesy's tab at the bar, whatever you want.
Go for the top shelf.
I want to talk about Pascal Siakam because he was named as an injury replacement to the All-Star game, and I'm not sure if these are statement games, but the last 2 games, it's peak Pascal.
Yeah, I mean, people would look and say there's some motivation there, but I just think we've kind of seen that from Pascal all year.
Yeah.
He's been, they always say you are what
You repeatedly do.
Yeah, you repeatedly do. Aristotle, right? Excellence is a habit. It's not a singular act.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Aristotle.
It was either that or you are what you eat.
And we've seen Pascal this entire year come out and play this hard. It hasn't always been productive.
Yeah.
There have been some difficult nights, but then there was a 50-plus point night at Madison Square Garden. There was, another 30-piece night tonight. But he comes out with that mindset, and I think to me, that's what matters. He's giving you his best punch every night.
Yeah. Okay, let's go into overtime real quick here. Should the Phoenix Suns, Sherm, be considered favorites to win it all now that they have Kevin Durant?
1-0 for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
they're significantly better. Anywhere Kevin Durant goes, you're significantly better. I think they do need to add something in their front court. And hopefully if Cam Payne comes back in terms of his injury, if he doesn't, then they're going to need to put something in the backcourt as well. But you're looking at Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, and throw you, me, Jonesy, or Eric in there at that point. And they have a legit squad.
People were
I barely
saying,
included you.
They gave
Have you
up a
felt
lot.
these elbows?
Barely included.
Have you felt these elbows?
Sorry.
They gave up a lot with Mikal Bridges.
A lot.
With Jay Crowder, who wasn't playing.
Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson.
A lot of defense gone.
They did.
Perimeter defense.
They still have Torrey Craig. Like when you're talking about the offensive
He
side of
played
it,
well tonight.
they still have Torrey Craig and they still have Landry Sherman. What I look at, and to Sherm's point, I believe they are one of the top 2, but now you got to think about guarding those guys. And it's going to be tough. Like, I just thought about the contenders. Well, Denver has some size to be able to guard them with a Michael Porter Jr. and an Aaron Gordon, and then you've got guys like KCP, and like you can still match up with Booker and Durant and Jokic with Ayton. And I look at Memphis, another contender. Well, they got a Jaren Jackson Jr., Steven Adams, a Dylan Brooks. Looks like they could be okay. So everybody went, oh, this is it for Phoenix. I'm like, hang on a second. It's going to take them some time. It may be quicker because they do have veterans in Chris Paul and Durant, Booker, guys that understand how to play together. But they've got to try to find some defense too. So I don't know if they're the favorite. They're in that mix, but there's still a lot of good teams out there. You look at the Clippers, if they're healthy, with Kawhi and Paul George. And
I like the moves they made.
I love the moves they made with Eric Gordon and a Plumlee as an active backup for Zubac, a more
Who's going to be their point guard?
Well,
They're riding with Terrence Mann.
That's one guy.
Yeah.
I think when it comes down to it, playoff
Bones
time,
Highland can handle the ball a little bit.
I think he handles it if Leonard and George are off the floor. Because when they're on the floor, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are going to have the ball in their hand.
We saw Norm even playing the point sometimes in Toronto. He might be able to do it for the Clips if need be. Maybe not as a regular starter, but
You know, a quiet under the radar move is Mike Muscala going to the Boston
sure.
Celtics.
Beautiful move.
Yep.
It's
Beautiful.
a very, very emboldening
39% from three.
you know a guy in that
stroke.
mold that I'm surprised didn't get dealt though too? Doug McDermott. Like
Yeah.
Dougie Buckets coming off the bench for somebody. I'm surprised that the Spurs ultimately, maybe there were deals out there for him, but
Bogdanovich from the Pistons didn't get moved.
Yeah,
He had a
yeah.
huge night for them in a double overtime win.
And watch where Reggie Jackson goes on the buyout market.
Yeah.
Hey, and-
Maybe he goes back to LA.
just
That's-
quickly,
That's what I.
Oh, he can't?
Well,
I think with the loophole in the collective agreement, they closed it. I don't think you can go back to your old team for 30 to 60 days.
what I was going to say though, Randy, watch what the Raptors might do. Because my understanding is they ended up getting the injury exemption for Otto Porter, which is $3 million because of his injury. So with this buyout market, with these players that are available, maybe Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri are not done because they got that $3 million to spend. They might be able to be active in the buyout market with some of these veteran guys we're talking about.
Yeah. All right, great stuff. Going to stop it there. Next game for the Raptors comes on Super Bowl Sunday against the Detroit Pistons. Tip-off goes at 3 p.m. Eastern. And before we leave you tonight, we have some sad news to pass along, of course. We got word before the game that Elvin Williams' mother sadly passed away. We just want to say we love you, Elvin. We're thinking about you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.